Sweet. So, so yeah, we're going to talk about wearables this month. A real quick run through of the headlines here of why it's Wearables Month with Aavegotchi. If you're in the Discord and you've been following the announcements, I mean, I'm looking at that right now. And just, well, about a week ago, we launched the auction wearables support at auction.aavegotchi.com. So this is big because this is, wearables, um, 55 wearables your Aavegotchi. We've been equipped, going and trading those in our P2P marketplace at the bazaar at Aavegotchi.com. But the GBM bid to earn auction model is one of our most popular features, and we finally have it where it's kind of open sourced, where anybody who has Aavegotchi NFTs can now launch their own GBM bid to earn auctions. You can do a 1-day auction, a 6-hour auction, 3-day auction. And so that's big. That just started. And I think the very first auctions to close came in with some godlike items going for 3 of them. One went for like $17,000 worth of ghost token. Another one went for a similar amount. And I think the Aave boat, which is one of the most popular, rare, exclusive wearables, went for 20,000 ghost, which is north of $20,000. So it's interesting because these don't usually get listed with a buy it now price in the bazaar. So price discovery is needed for these super rare wearables. And so that was pretty cool to see. And I think we're going to see more godlikes listed, and also the mythicals will benefit from this. And maybe we'll get an update here. I think we might see some Dune analytics on how it's going and all that good stuff. I see Coder Dan was in the house. He might drop through and drop some numbers on us. And then there's another big thing coming up that it hasn't hit yet. You can get ready for it, and that is the Forge. I'll pin a link to that here in a minute, but the Forge is a completely DAO-driven game mechanic, and it's pretty awesome. It basically, we all want more wearables, but we don't want to inflate away the value of our current wearables. So what you can do is they've kind of atomized the current wearables into 3 parts. Each wearable can break down into 3 components. And what that means is you can basically burn your wearable in the Forge, break it into these 3 parts, and use those as basically currency to recreate new rare wearables. So what you get is deflationary pressure on existing wearables while you're creating new designs and getting to enjoy new wearable items. So it's the best of both worlds. It's super big brain, and it's going to be going live here by the end of the month. We just previewed the UI for that. It's going to be up and running here really, really soon. So that's also, a huge, huge move in our wearables economy. And so we're dubbing this Wearables Month for Aavegotchi. There's just a lot going on. Of course, it also moves into February, because then all these new wearables are going to help you earn more with rarity farming, where if you dress your Aavegotchi up, you take good care of your Aavegotchi, it'll climb the leaderboards and actually farm ghost token for you. So the 5th season of rarity farming starts in early February, and we'll be distributing over $1.5 million of ghost token to Aavegotchi, well-dressed Aavegotchis. So yeah, that's a quick summary of why this is Wearable Month for Aavegotchi. But the interesting thing is we think it could be Wearables Year. It really could be that 2023 sees a lot more emphasis on the utility of kind of on-chain swag, and the composability is so powerful when you've come up with well thought out ways to use it, kind of like what we see with the Forge. So today we're going to be joined by a couple other metaverses and Polygon players in the space that also use and support wearables. And we want to hear from them and see what they see on their radar, see if we can get some insights into the trend with wearable NFTs. So we got their hands up. I'm going to start pulling them up here in a minute. Quick headline is we've got Genso Meta. Genso Meta, the only metaverse project with a 14-year history. It comes from Gensokishi Online, and it's now using blockchain tech incorporated into their MMORPG. These guys were on, all the classic consoles. Their PC, Japanese-based metaverse and MMORPG. So super excited to have Genso Meta back on. They dropped some knowledge last week, and they may have some more updates on a possible Aavegotchi integration. We'll get into that. We also have another metaverse, I believe, out of Japan. And Mickey is here from Swagga Metaverse, Swagga Meta, to join us. And they are definitely using wearables to the max with their social entertainment metaverse and their quote unquote swag to earn. I love that. So we're going to hear from Mickey from Swagga Meta here in just a bit. And we've got our friends from Powered by Polygon. Ryan from Powered by Polygon is back in the saddle with us this week. He dropped some knowledge last week, and he's the one leading that cohort of Polygon-based project leaders, developers, and enthusiasts. And so, I want to know what he's seeing in the wearables section of his builders circle and what he's hearing on the street. And then, of course, we have another surprise, a kind of super excited to learn that one of the major exchanges on Polygon actually supports the locking mechanism for wearables. A problem with us in OpenSea has always been that if you have your Aavegotchi all dressed up, you technically have an Aavegotchi as a 721, and then you have the wearables as 1155s. And if I go to buy your super drip Aavegotchi, and in the middle of, as just before you confirm it, you actually undress the Aavegotchi, take the wearables back, all I would end up with is the 721, and I would be really overpaying in a big way. So, bad actors could totally rug you. And so that's a big problem. And One Planet, I was chatting at somehow one of the Telegram groups and connected with Edwin from One Planet and learned that they actually have a locking mechanism for what sounds like it would be a solution for this problem. So we're going to dig into that too and get One Planet on stage here in a bit and learn a bit about what makes their exchange unique and why it could become a real hub for wearables especially. So super excited about all of that. No futuristic. Did I miss anything? And is there anything else on the wearable front you think we should cover today? I'll start pulling people up.
Well, I'd say I'm pretty excited about wearables because from an anecdotal point of view, I've been watching the market since the GBMs have been introduced. Legendary floor prices have gone up. The mythical floor price has gone up. It was around 12, 1300. Now I think it's at 14, entering 1500. So I didn't think it was gonna. I honestly thought it was gonna move downward. So seeing it go up prior to the forge also, it just seems very powerful. So I'm very bullish on wearables this year.
Oh yeah, I'm super bullish, man. I mean,
Yeah, no future.
Cross
You
was
always have
talking
on the pulse of the market. So I did not know that. That doesn't surprise me, given just the dynamic changes happening right now in that particular market. But that is bullish. Anything else that you see in the market right now, or we should cover today?
Well, I think we should. I think wearables.
Oh, is it just me?
For anybody
I can't hear
who's
Hefe at all. Maybe it's just me.
Can you guys hear me? Test.
Yeah, it's just
test,
you,
test.
bro. I can hear him.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear Hefe.
Okay, I think it might be Jesse. I might try leaving and coming back. But I was just going to quickly say on the wearable front of things, I think anybody who's played like an MMORPG or any sort of Web 2 kind of game where you're building a character, the wearables have been like the center of that. And it's so interesting to see that now coming over to Web 3 where you actually own the asset. And so I'm curious to see how other games are using it. I personally love the GPM. I just actually, Future, you were talking about mythical wearables. I just caught my first mythical wearable this week on the GPM, and it was a very exciting experience to be in an auction, waiting that anticipation after you put your bid in. I got outbid a couple times, so there's a little mini bidding war that happened, and eventually I ended up getting the wearable. So I now am the proud owner of a mythical poncho, Aavegotchi poncho. So yeah, very big win for me. And, despite, like you said, no future, despite the floor prices of wearables going up, I got a really great deal on this poncho. And I think, or this, specific wearable. And I think there's a lot of room there for mythical wearables that maybe otherwise would be done like OTC, trading between me and you, but done over the auction instead, which I think is just a way more exciting experience.
Yeah, congratulations, man. That's great to hear. So for those of you who couldn't hear, FA bought a mythical poncho this week via GBM. He's very excited by it. So with the poncho, which is this going on your main Gotchi? Are you putting it on a Hefe, or are you positioning yourself for Rarity Farming Season 5? Was that the move, or is this something long and you've been waiting for this for a while?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. I'm definitely positioning for rarity farming. I bought another Aavegotchi a couple months ago. That's, it's a high rarity score Aavegotchi. And, for those of you that don't know, kind of each Aavegotchi is a specific rarity score along with, unique traits. But this one's a 543 rarity score. And so, that would be considered pretty high. and I got this poncho because it fits it perfectly. It fits the traits perfectly. It, you know, aesthetically looks good, and so it just felt like the right buy.
Yeah, I completely get that. I say again.
My bad. I unmuted there. my apologies.
Oh, no worries, no worries. Yeah, so with wearables, like thinking of the mythicals, I have my main Gotchi has a mythical wizard's hat. So the floors on the mythical are really thin. There was a mythical wizard hat listed at I think 13.99. Someone bought it. It's now the floor is now 2,500 ghosts. So I took mine off and listed it for 5,000 ghosts because I figured maybe I could buy back, cheaper mythicals to, if someone wants it, since there's only two on the market. Oh, but it's kind of crazy because I'm looking at my Gotchi now. He's dropped 12 points of BRS, but I put a Rasta hat on it, so it's like the vibe is still there. It's just like, he's not a wizard, he's just a Rasta. I'm down with that. I'll have to update the PFP soon. So really quickly, we'll check with the host Aavegotchi account. Can you hear me, Jesse?
Check 1, 2. I think I fixed it. I was running around the house just hitting my phone with a hammer, and I think it works now.
Yep, I can hear you. The only thing is move a little closer to your mic.
Oh, okay.
Also
Okay.
mute.
Yeah, is that better? Check 1, 2.
That's better. You might get an echo if you leave your channel open.
Okay, I'll keep it off. So many weird things with my phone today. Well, let's just go past the mic while I continue to hit my phone with the hammer. Genso, we want to hear from you. Introduce what's going on with you guys and how you use wearables. And after Genso, let's go to Mickey from Swagga Meta. And I'm going to start pinning some stuff to the top here so everybody can see where you guys are coming from.
Hey, Jesse, thanks for the intro. And yeah, thanks for having us here again. Yeah, we are very much happy to be here because, of course, every aspect of our game depends on wearables. And congratulations on Aavegotchi for the auction function and the great results coming with it. We have very big emphasis on wearables because we see our game as a very sticky game in the fact that users really like to play the game in the way they like to, their avatars, the way they look is important. Every single user in our game dresses up in a different way, and they can do that because 8 parts of their body they can dress up in any way they want to. So there's an infinite possibilities of the way they dress up, and they can buy the parts on a market through loot boxes and of course through playing the game, and they can trade it. They can't auction it off yet, but they can. I'm gonna have that function in the future. Yeah, so this is an integral part of our game because users have emphasis on playing the game how they look. There's someone at the door. Excuse me.
Oh man, getting a delivery in the middle. I love it. I want to ask, I don't know if you can still hear me. I would love to hear more about because you said you have 8 wearable slots. So we at Aavegotchi have 6. So I wonder what your extra 2 are and if we have any overlap.
Cool. Yes, that's an interesting question. We have so there's the right hand, the left hand. There's the torso. There's the back. There's the head, and there are a couple of places. Sorry, the guy's at the door. Give me a second.
That's okay. It's a good intro. Let's pass the mic. What's up, Mickey?
Hey, Jesse. Thank you for the intro. And I can hear myself there.
Yeah, so you're with Swagga Metaverse, Swag to Earn. I'm about to pin a tweet about you guys. Could you give us a quick intro on just what Swagga is about? I think it might be new for some of the audience.
Sure. I'm just going to do a quick intro. My name is Mickey. I'm a CMO of Swagga. Swagga is a 3D social fashion metaverse. We want to build a world for all community that can get together for gathering, parties, events, and experience the immersive lifestyle in the meta. We also have several types of NFTs. I know today we're talking about a wearable NFTs. The types of NFT what we have right now is we have collectibles without origin IP called Onimaru. And it collabs we do a collaboration with other like fashion, entertainment, Web2 brands, and also do collaboration with Web3 projects as well. Also, we have avatar where you can dress up your avatar with wearable NFTs, and we talk about the slots, how many slots you have for like actual wearable NFT avatars. We actually have about 12, I think, so far as I know, but we can explain that later. Also, for our NFTs part, we have NFT for personal space, probably for all other metaverse as well. You have like furnitures, decorations, items. And for us, it's other than purchasing, you can actually also stake your collectible Onimaru and receive the voucher in exchange for the like wearable NFTs or decoration NFT as well. So we mentioned about swag to earn. We have play to earn, walk to earn, whatever to earn recently. For us, it's swag to earn because we are a social fashion entertainment metaverse. We believe that a lot of users, they want to show off what they have, basically I think in Singlish, they say how kiao you can be. And then also we have our motto is pretty much, it's called swap your likes into value. So you actually, can present or actually decorate your room, or you can dress, the fashion brands that you like, do things that you like to actually earn from it. So that also including the staking part with Onimaru. When you stake the Onimaru in our capsules, based on the rarity of the NFTs, you can actually get rewards for wearable NFT creations. And also in the future, once the token is issued, you also get rewards as a token as well.
Sounds pretty cool. There must be a lot of social aspect to it where you're kind of dressing up the avatars, customizing them, and then there must be a way to compare with one another or get together, and that's the metaverse aspect. So is it like a 3D game world, or is it more like a UI, like a website, and then you kind of like a chat box going? I haven't seen that part of the gameplay aspect.
Sure. It's actually a bit of everything really, because we have a lot of, in our metaverse, it's going to be launching this spring. And then we already working with a lot of different communities. We are building community houses. There is a commercial area where all like the fashion brands or Web2 brands going to be move in. And then also we have community areas where, the Web3 projects, they can actually move in, have their own buildings where they can actually have gatherings. We're going to have chat box, maybe videos, and also going to have virtual. So you actually have your avatar walking for meetings. And then also we have games, like we have dance battle games. So a lot of part of it, we have what we call FAST, is fashion, amusement, and social. So you socialize with people. Every day we are going to have like we're going through algorithm of all the players, and it will calculate the points of the person's getting. So how it calculates, it actually based on fashion, what kind of a wearable NFT you have, what kind of other NFTs that you have, how many tokens do you have, all those will be calculated. But that's in terms of fashion. And in terms of the amusement part is how well you do you can play the game, the dance battle, mini games, how actively you're activated in the metaverse. And also the last part is social, is how many followers you have, how many likes you have, those sort of things. If you're KOL, maybe that will help you to actually bring you up to higher rankings.
Nice. So a little something for everybody. And I'm still thinking about what you said at the beginning, the 12 wearable slots. That's a lot. You can do like mismatching socks or something, maybe. I don't know. I'm like trying to think what all. You have one for each foot. So.
Yeah, I mean, we have, because I think a lot of, since we are the fashion entertainment metaverse with the social part of it, we believe a lot of people, they want to do a mix and match and a lot of stuff. Also, we are actually also working with whatever tattoo community where they're going to have like the tattoos and stuff. So smaller tattoo, like bigger tattoos differently. So it really depends on how you dress it up, like your avatar. So that's why we try to provide as many slots we can. And that's the maximum right now that we can provide right now.
Cool. Let's get to Powered by Polygon here a little bit as well, and your reaction to these metaverses, and what are you hearing in your development cohort?
Well, in our developers community, first I'll introduce myself, guys. My name is Ryan. I'm the founder of Powered by Polygon. I'm a severe blockchain addict and a project advisor, founder, and just very passionate about the overall Web3 NFT space. I guess one of my goals in the Web3 space is to create a more decentralized and transparent future for all of us. So that's kind of what I focus on with Powered by Polygon, building out these projects and giving them guidance and sort of just, paving the way for Polygon at the moment with that sort of helping people out in user adoption. I guess we have seen a surge in requests for these. I will call them wearables for the space, but in my mind, they're a little bit different because wearables classifies this protocol as something right away. It's the attachment of putting a physical object onto an avatar. Okay. For my understanding of this is a simple protocol. It's there's actually an EIP that represents ownership so that an NFT can actually own another NFT. That's the thing. So you can have it so that like it's actually EIP 6059 is the EIP, and it's a parent and child NFT protocol that allows for an NFT to spawn another NFT and have catalog slots built into the base protocol of the ERC 721 that allows it to own, like you said, 6, 8, 12, 100, 1,000 different other NFTs. It turns the NFT into an NFT backpack in a way. But anyway, so like you could technically have like an in-game avatar that when traded would move the land plot, the car, the everything related to it, all of its wearables, items, weapons, everything, as long as it had enough ownership slots built into the base protocol. So there's a whole bunch of other ways to get past these like sort of baseline introductions. But I respect what you guys do and that you have to push these things step by step in the forefronts of mass adoption, because there's so much technical knowledge and infrastructure that has to be built to implement these protocols, like things like what One Planet's doing over there. We're creating like lockable NFTs and things like that. That's pretty cool to hear they're innovating in that way. But I just see there's like you said, like the OpenSea issue where if you trade an NFT, how do you get the other ones that comes with it, right? And that this EIP actually solves all of that by allowing that NFT to drag the other ones behind it. So it kind of caught me on that one. Well.
Yeah, Ryan, do you have some news on the EIP 6059 and OpenSea? Do they? I mean, if the EIP, that's an improvement proposal. So if it becomes adopted, then I think by default, it's a standard. Right now, I don't know.
Actually, I actually know a collection that already does it. Like you can buy a Nuclear Nerd and it'll bring the comic NFT with it. They're attached, soul bound to the NFT.
Nice. And so, and you're saying that works on OpenSea or really anywhere, just because it's 6059.
I'm not sure if they use that exact protocol, but I know the developers over at Nuclear Nerds, and they're very, very smart guys, and they're very well versed in blockchain technology, and they were like one of the first to have like mimetic metadata and all sorts of other things. So it was no doubt in my mind that they were going to be one of the first to figure out things like this as well. And they're kind of quiet innovators over there. So if you keep an eye out for them, they're a little bit sneaky at the nerds, but they were the first ones I seen to do it. But not in a gaming aspect.
Right. Yeah, I mean, say their name again. Who are they?
The Nuclear Nerds with the Apocalypse.
Okay, nice. Yeah, we'll have to.
Yeah, they're a pretty Ethereum-based collection, and well, actually, I know their developer quite well. He was a member of the 315 guild that I started back in the day, and helped us out a bit launching that, and then moved off to do his own developmental things, and has matured into quite a great developer in the Web3 space, I would say. So.
That's a great example of like kind of the alpha we're looking for here, things that are working for others, and if some are finding, whether it's 6059 or not, they're getting that to work. Speaking of exchanges that are able to support lockables and this kind of composability of NFTs, we've got One Planet on stage. I believe it's Edwin, but correct me if I'm wrong. And would love to learn a bit more about One Planet. I've been seeing you guys around a lot lately, especially on Polygon. Are you guys multi-chain? And yeah, just a little bit about One Planet, and then we'll get into what's unique about your support for wearables.
Yeah, hey Jesse and Aavegotchi fam, thank you guys for inviting us. So my name's Edwin. I'm the community manager for One Planet. So I can definitely share some of the overview ways that we help projects. As far as the technicals go, I would need some help from BD in that regard. But just to give you an example, the way that we work is we essentially partner with projects to bring this technology forward, right? So first we started in Terra, and after the Terra crash in May, that's when we migrated to Polygon. And in September 6th was when we went live with our marketplace. And then our launchpad is just starting out. So that's been an exciting part there. So one of the first things that we did was introduce the reveal mechanism for NFTs. And right now, most of the projects in our platform are PFP based. So with the reveal function, basically project just releases one thumbnail, right, to cover their initial art. And then a few days after that initial mint, then that's when they can go through our platform, and their community comes in and just goes specifically to the event page and the reveal page, and they can do that. They can do one NFT at a time or 10 NFTs at a time, right? So that's the first thing that we did with Nerdy Moody collection. We're about to release the collection with Hellcats, the remint. They're going to use the reveal function as well. And so what we do have available right now for our marketplace is real-time reflection of the NFT status. And the way we do that is by working with the project's API, right? So we will need their support there. And then another thing that I think I mentioned to you was trade protection, right? And locking the NFT so that it invalidates any kind of transferring that a user wants to do to try and like violate, right, or attack in any way and try to cheat, the transfers. We also have custom token trades. So like Tower and Dust tokens, they are able to be used in our platform for the NFT collections, which is some utility that we can add to projects. So those are some of the things that we have right now. But again, we work with projects, and if you have something that you want to try that you need some customization with, that's what we like to do. We just like to innovate the space as well and look to work with partners like you guys that are trying to push the wearables ecosystem forward.
That's excellent. No Future, you do a lot of day trading. I call it day trading, NFT trading, and are very, very active on your collection and always updating it. Have you ever used One Planet?
I actually haven't. I've mostly just used OpenSea, Magic Eden, and then I think at this point most of my trading is Aavegotchi stuff. So I'm always in the bazaar.
Yeah. I'm going through your guys' Twitter right now, and the backstory makes so much sense now with previously being on Terra, recently launching on Polygon. So relatively new to the Polygon space. I see a lot of Polygon-centric PFPs that are launching. This Polygon Citizen. Do you have any more info on that? That looks like something that you guys are working really closely with them on.
Yeah. Thanks for asking. So Polygon Citizens, they just launched yesterday. They're actually listening right now. PS Labs, they're the creators of the Polygon Citizens. But yeah, man, it's been exciting for us because this is the first paid mint collection that has gone through our launchpad. So far, it's been successful. Their community has been super excited about, the platform, just the launchpad working properly. And then the art that comes out of that, just being able to engage with the art that PS Labs has created and bringing some just fun to collecting, right? And like right now you can start to see collectors attach themselves to different traits. For example, like Toads Gang is the hashtag that's going around because it's just a bunch of toads that look dope, it's just really cool art. And I think just to kind of touch on the wearables component, one thing that we see is that with PFPs not having as much utility, I think something in the future that we see is that instead of calling it wearables, for us, it's like traits, right, or properties that the collectors will be able to essentially like switch or add to their like plain avatar, right? Just so like they could kind of continue to move towards the PFP category, but still be able to change and adapt to some trait that they really like, as opposed to like, I mean, you can call it a wearable, right? But I think on our end, we will look at it as traits.
Yeah. And by I mean, for sure, our wearables do adjust traits. It's kind of the whole point is to have that dynamic metadata. But I see Hefe's hand up here. What's Hefe thinking?
Hey, I wanted to chime in there on kind of the conversation that's been going on here, and I think I keep hearing kind of the connection to identity that someone has towards this character. And I think what we're seeing with wearables now being a big part of many of these communities and games that are up here sharing all this with us is the first time around with the PFP crowd, you had to like the PFP and exactly everything the PFP was wearing. You had to commit to that character. And so I think NFT communities, gaming communities that have products that have this ability, like you say, to add traits, to add wearables, I think it just increases the appeal of that to someone who's new, just coming up on that community. I think it increases that appeal because I may not like a specific character when I purchase it, or I may not like a specific aspect of what that character is wearing. But now it's kind of like, it's like if you're a Bored Ape, you had like a captain's hat that you did like, but maybe had some other accessory you didn't like. Now you can go out to the market. You can go out to, like you say, a marketplace like One Planet. You can find the wearable that you're missing to complete your character, to complete your identity, and craft this character to match your identity and who you are more closely than the previous PFP crowds that we had, where you had to kind of commit, you had to kind of mold yourself to that whatever PFP character you had bought, because you couldn't change anything about it.
It also allows people to create like the Megazord of PvPs or PFPs, so that you can go in and, like, if someone wanted to, they could literally buy like every elite trait and make like the Aavegotchi, something like that. Anyway, I think that's pretty cool. It gives people, like you said, and that creates personability into all of it, so you're giving these personalized touches to the collections, and you're allowing people to create their own toy, right? Like Build-A-Bear's been a thing forever. Let the kid go design the bear, you'll keep it forever. I think I've still got one up in the closet that I've had for the last 25 years. You just don't throw it away because you made it. That's exactly how it goes. If you painted a picture, it's a lot more difficult to throw it in the dumpster when you're done looking at it than it would be if you didn't sit down for the 8 hours to paint it, right? So kind of changes the scope when you allow customization into the whole thing, and it gives people the ability to create those personalized experiences so that something is yours. And and having it more decentralized even now than ever, it's like yours and you can do whatever you like with it. So and to touch on that too, like, when you're having these things like like you're talking about, like swapping traits out and that, but like what about, like, if your NFT, like I said, can physically own a whole nother NFT with traits, right? So like your NFT can own the sword NFT that has traits on it, and that gives your character even more boost just by like having those, like no different than equipping an item in an RPG, right? Or you could you could have those same things. Like, as soon as you start doing that and your player can own these things, you can start like dealing with advanced like play to earn protocols, where like set a sword that's attached to the NFT avatar, and allow that sword itself, not the NFT avatar, but the sword itself, to gain tokens within the game, so that the sword can accumulate a claimable balance. Like, and then it's like the sword levels up as the balance accumulates. The sword gains extra traits, has those same evolutional qualities that you're speaking of. And then if you take the earnings from the game and you harvest that and take that intrinsic value out of it, it resets back to being a common. Like, that's the level that we need to get these NFT protocols to. That's the level that we need to get these game assets to. And like that's the level that in fact, it's the level that we've already been at. Like, these things have all existed for 2+ years already, and just the implementation of them needs to get to where we're at now, like with the mass adoption and the larger games using them, and like testing out these protocols, and having people like we did with our 315 guild, actually like we built liquid NFT assets where like tokens become NFTs, becomes tokens again, without having another party involved. It's completely decentralized, trustless gaming. And it's like, it's like we built those things 2 years ago, and they do all of those things that I mentioned. They gain attributes, they can be delegated, they level, and it's just, I see there's so much more use case that we can bring forward in this space, just through this love for decentralized ownership and the invoking of NFT technology into our games. That's all I got to say, though. Sorry, I rant sometimes.
No, there's a lot of knowledge there. You were pretty much describing rarity farming with Aavegotchi and then some. Like, even I'll add one on to what you were saying. We basically have the equivalent of SBTs, right? The non-transferable badges can be deposited into your Aavegotchi if you earn them. And those go wherever the Aavegotchi goes forever. Is my mic back, by the way? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
You're
back.
fine. You're fine. Yeah.
Yep. You sound
Wonderful. I ran around. I got a Bluetooth. I'm Bluetoothing it now. So I think that made all the difference. I'll
That's
stop
awesome.
shouting.
The slowbound token concept is really cool too. We just actually started using that on another collection we're working with, basically creating, like, I won't name drop or anything, but we're creating like Web3 Barbie and all of its accessories for for a lovely lady that we've been working with. She's got a bit of a collection there. It's pretty neat. So with soul-bound accessories, it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, that a soul-bound wearable is basically what we're doing, and I think soul-bound has a huge place in everything. With 2023, we're going to see those take off and be used in powerful ways. I see One Planet's hand up. I want to get One Planet back here. Yo, yo, yo.
Yeah, so just to add to what Brian was saying, so in Terra, one thing that we created that was super exciting for the community was an assemble and disassemble feature. And it's funny, Jesse, because you called your tool Forge, right? And that's what we had called the umbrella as well. It was called Forge, but underneath that, we were going to have the assemble and disassemble feature, staking, opening packs, right? Like reveal. So all these different tools for creators to just come in and use that. And I think to Brian's point, like the technology exists and all we need is creators with the ideas to come in and request that and start using those tools that already exist, right? But just to share the quick example of this assemble disassemble feature, we partnered with this project called Riot Factory. And what they did is they created 5 parts to build your robot, right? And you minted, it was a free mint. And so you just minted all parts through a random box. And then once you got all parts, you would go and you would go into the assemble, disassemble page, and you would bring your 5 parts connected, and then you'll have a robot that you can take into the marketplace and sell the complete robot, or you can sell the individual parts. And so that created an interesting arbitrage because you can build the robot depending on rarity or depending on how it looked, right? So there was like different colors, different backgrounds, and different things like that. And so it was just interesting to see, how people, as soon as they got their parts, they started to play around with it. And there was so much transaction volume just based on the utility that was immediately attached to the assemble disassemble feature.
We're really getting aspect here of just NFTs to create the sum is greater. Mickey, how Swag to earn and oriented, and I've heard a lot of people talk about fashion NFTs in general. You seem to be at the crossroads of metaverse and fashion NFTs. Can you give me an example of like how you would go about? So you get an avatar, and then how do the wearables work in Swagga that would you climb a leaderboard, or you mentioned there's some ways to earn, so there must be some competition going on. But how does it work?
So there are actually a lot of different ways. First of all, like our wearable NFTs, it has each NFT have different rarities, and then based on the brand, they do have different points based on items as well. So when we talked about, we actually have a daily ranking of the point system going through algorithm. This is going through the fashion part, which is, it's based on what kind of NFT item that you own that you actually have it on. And then also for the amusement part, I mentioned a little bit earlier that we do have a dance battle part. So the dance battle is about, how you actually dress you're not going to go in as your avatar yourself. It's actually going to have a reflection of your avatar as you go in to do a dance battle. So that will actually, everything comes in with the fashion, amusement, and social, because it depends on how many people are supporting you, how many people are rooting for you, how well you dress, and how well you play the game, and how actively you're in the game. So all this actually is not only going to be on the fashion part of it, it's also going to be involving everything that's, what you're doing overall in the metaverse. And speaking of fashion part, I mean, we do a lot of things with fashion because we want to, a lot of people a lot of digital fashions coming in. We see a lot of different, applications. We have a lot of different Web3 projects coming in, different platforms for digital fashions. We are also on the Metaverse Fashion Council, and then we are actually a part of the board of advisors. And then, so there are a lot of things that we try to, to spread, not only bring the major brand into the Web3 industry, but also want to actually bring the new designers, if they are actually interested in doing some digital fashion designs, they can actually we want to actually activate the UGC, and so actually the users or the designers, they can actually make their own designs in the metaverse. So it's more of a creative area for everyone. It is a place where people can show what kind of things they like. And also we think that fashion, wearable accessories, those are things, it shows your taste, your sense of fashion, and you can also find your friends with sense of fashion or people in the world in the metaverse that has the same taste that you can actually bring the community together.
Yeah, that's amazing. It makes me think of, because in the Aavegotchi DAO, we have talked about aesthetic wearables before. The idea of us creating community-driven wearables for us to wear that don't affect BRS necessarily, but that might just be for dress. But we were talking about the Forge earlier, and that's kind of a community-driven, like it's not aesthetic. We're going to be able to like break down our wearables into different components and then put them together and make new wearables. And the community, the Forge community members, their team is a group of community members are, going to be designing some of the art along with Pixelcraft. So it's very exciting. Jesse's having some mic issues. So I just want to say, Meta, Jesse was telling me that there's some alpha about Aavegotchi avatars that you want to potentially talk about here. Is that correct?
Yeah. So we already posted some videos of our 3D Aavegotchi gear that users can actually wear. That's going to be available for users who participate in the land sale that is adjacent to the Aavegotchi land that we have located for Gotchi. It's going to be very exciting because we're going to build together a 3D version of the Gotchiverse inside of Gens. But to recap, all these wearables, how they're going to be able to dress up as Gotchis is that they're going to be able to wear it from on top of their head. I'm going to share a tweet on the Spaces link so that people can see. But you can see that there's I pin it from here. You can see it. The characters are actually wearing it on top of their head. When Jesse was saying that so many of the Gotchi users like to dress up with their wearables as well, and we want to be able to incorporate that function to ours as well, because right now it's just for one look, but we hope that we can customize that and we can allow users to customize that in the UGC function as well.
Hey, I think my mic's working, right? I wanted to jump in, and what I was actually alluding to is, so the avatar, when we see the 3D Aavegotchi in the Genso meta, that's a wearable, like when you dress up for Halloween almost, right? It's a big ghost. And then I wonder if we could leak a little alpha here. We were talking last week about, my understanding is every character in Genso Meta has different attacks and different moves, but each one individually has its own signature move. And we were talking about, Aavegotchi, the Aavegotchi should have a signature move in Genso Meta. Is that going to happen? And if so, maybe we can get the community's input on what that signature should be. What do you think?
Yes, exactly. We want a signature move for our Gotchis, and we want to know what would be the best move. We can customize that and animate that in any way. So, yes, we want input from the people here.
What do you guys think? Anything come to mind immediately?
Personally, I would love to see the Gotchi spin. Like in the Gotchiverse, when you hit N, they spin around, but they look so happy when they're doing it. So that big smile on their face as they spun would probably be one of mine. Also, maybe one of the emotes. Like, I don't know, for some reason, the lightning one always makes me think of farting and sometimes gives me, it gives me joy. So that would be kind of cool.
That would be super cute.
See, the ideas are just flowing here. Hefe, can you top that?
Oh, that's a tough one. Aavegotchis, man. I think our signature move would definitely be the spin. I think that's like something that we recently added, a couple months ago, and I think a lot of people use that one in the Gotchiverse. So I don't know if I can top that one, to be honest. That it's very fitting.
Well, let me ask a question. If there's a level of battle in the game, then maybe some of the moves that we saw in the arena, because there were some attacks that were kind of cool, critical hit attacks. Those could look pretty cool as like special moves.
There were like some high-powered attacks that were, they would use up a large percentage of your kind of mana in the game. But I really like the melee version where you're kind of like it's a charge. It's like a charge attack. It's difficult to describe, but it looked really cool in the arena. I could see that being one of the attacks for sure.
That is interesting. So signature move doesn't have an attack, but in the future, I think we're going to be able to bring in some variations of the Gotchi avatar, maybe some that have attack components as well. So in that way, we can have the spin, and then in the future, let's look at the arena attacks and see what we can do there. Very excited.
See, I would add one thing to it to balance it out, right? We have the Gotchi spin, which is just pure joy. And then maybe one of the moves is the scorned looking Gotchi. Like maybe like it's annoyed and that's like the button you hit and it's like kind of gives it this scorned Gotchi face. It'd be the opposite of the spin, which is just joy versus like what? You know, like kind of questioning in a sense.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, this is the kind of ideas we wanted. So very excited to hear from you.
I was gonna
This is
throw this out
awesome.
there.
Great ideas here. Hefe, I see your hand.
Yeah, I was gonna just quickly throw this out there. This kind of has to do with Mickey and Genzo, and some of the things you guys have been discussing just now. What are your thoughts around, let's say there's some sort of a fashion item available in one metaverse, and because I own that item in that metaverse, maybe it gives me access to purchase the same item, but maybe for example, in the Gotchiverse, in the bazaar. Like we have the Forge now, and maybe there are ways for other projects to find their wearables in our game, so we can actually have those fashion items as well in the Gotchiverse. I think that would be really cool, and vice versa also, to see maybe some really well-known items synonymous with Aavegotchi finding their ways into your metaverses, kind of like Meta, like the Aavegotchis have made it. But let's see if the wearables make their way across to these other metaverses. I think it'd be a really great value add for asset holders to be able to get access to their same wearables, but in other metaverses.
Yes, I think definitely that is what we actually want to do, because I mean that's also another point that we know. Like other than the differences between actually having Web2 game and then having on the Web3, that's you can actually bring the NFT outside to even to trade, to use, to purchase, to whatever. So what we are actually thinking is that for our partners, so we're actually going to have like a. So I mentioned a little bit about like when you actually have a personal space, you purchase land, bring your own personal space, or we have an apartment where you can actually decorate like things, our wearable NFTs or our partners wearable NFTs. So everything will be in our metadata. So and also the famous NFTs. So basically what happened is if, for example, you have a Bored Ape Club or you have a moonbird that you want to decorate it in your personal space, what we have is that you have a metadata there. If you actually have it in your wallet, that you can actually be able to display in your apartment or in your personal space. So that means that for example, what we have, for example, a wearable NFT in the Gotchiverse, that you can actually use that if we actually partner and we have the metadata in our database. Definitely, the item in the Gotchiverse can actually be doing the cross metaverse things, because we believe that metaverse is not only to have an individual, we don't want to hype up just our Swagga metaverse. We want to hype up the whole community. We want to hype up the whole industry, because we believe that is the most important thing. And the Web3 is all about community, and that is something that we should do.
Yeah, I resonate really well with what Mickey just said. It's all about cooperation, and also what she said about metadata. I think what we're moving towards is, for example, in Aavegotchi, the first 3D Gotchi avatar is gonna be the base. And in the future, when the UGC function opens up, when users can design their own avatars, when they have Gotchi NFTs, they'll be able to unlock the original 3D Gotchi so that they can use it to customize it in the way they want to. I think that's one step towards what we're going to look for with UGC.
Amazing. Jesse, are you able to speak? I just want to check because you didn't unmute yourself.
On my end, it looks like he was talking, but I was having difficulties hearing him there.
Yeah, it looks like he's muted actually. What I see on my end, his mic is off right now.
Well, we'll get down to the bottom of this in a second. So One Planet, I know we were talking about some PFPs. What are your plans with Polygon Web3 games? Have you already started partnering with other games to open up marketplaces for wearables and other ERC 721 tokens that are living on the Polygon network?
Yeah, so we ultimately want to start to branch out for sure. So even though we have a lot of the PFP collections on our marketplace right now, we have started to partner with some of the Polygon projects that have some kind of gaming component to it. So one that we've been working with for a long time is Derby Stars. They started in Terra, but they also migrated to Polygon. They are, I would say, similar to Zed Run. So they are going to be having a horse racing game. The art is a little bit more, I would say, kind of like cartoonish, like kid friendly. So they should be releasing their beta in Q1. So the horses have already been minted. Now it's just a matter of letting them live in the game, right? And the holders to explore their world. We also partner with Tower, right? So Tower has their own gaming platform. They have a mobile game. You can buy NFTs that are, they call them maps. And when you get that map, you go into their platform and you combine it with their Tower token. And then from there, you get a treasure. You can bring that treasure into the mobile game through your MetaMask wallet. And that opens you up to get some cards that you can actually use in game. So we have them on our platform. But yeah, so ultimately we do want to go in that route where we are integrating more games into our marketplace. But I would say that right now, yeah, we've been mostly working with PFP projects, but we know Polygon, it is heavily based on gaming, but one thing that we realized too is that a lot of the gaming platforms are building their own infrastructure, right? Like you guys have a lot of your own just infra, right, with your own marketplace and all of that going. So, we hope to continue to talk to projects like yourself so you can get to know us, right? And if there's any way that we can collaborate, we're always open to that, to explore that, because we have a huge community that has, their hands on PFPs and trading, but they're also gamers. And so if we can introduce them to a project like yours and vice versa, right, for your community to explore the PFP projects that we have, I think that goes a long way. Like Knights and Peasants, they're listening right now. They're a super cool project. They have a blockchain game. And, it's just been interesting to meet those communities for us, because when you go into the Discord, there's all these different discussions that are not just focused on price, right? They're focused on strategy and different ways to use the NFTs. And so that's the type of conversations that we want to be involved with as well, right? Not so focused on price speculation, which is a lot of the time what the PFP culture has been accustomed to.
Yeah, and I'll say with the just with the Polygon ecosystem in general, from the time I've spent on there over the last 2.5 years, it's a really receptive, open space to cross community collaborations. I've seen, Aavegotchi ourselves, we've had many collaborations with like CoinGecko, for example, a specific like Web3 influencers like Little Bubble. It's been really cool. And even the spaces here, just vibing with other projects has been, I think it's a great testament to how, how conducive the Polygon community is to working with each other. And that's why I think, one of the first spaces in Web3 where we really might see some of those use cases really come to life, like what Powered by Polygon was saying earlier. I think it's going to happen here right on Polygon, just because we have so many open communities open to like cross collaboration. So I'm hoping that we do see a lot of interoperable wearable partnerships coming out over the next year to 2 years.
By the way, I think we had this conversation last time as well, that these Polygon communities are so open to collaborations. I was just wondering why is that? I mean, I agree, and I love this, but why is that?
Because it's early, I think, and I think there's a general like a similarity in mindset of builders, people who are trying to grow something from the ground up. So there's just like more collaboration and cooperation. Like a great example is Kronos. We actually had them on, I think, a couple weeks ago on our Gotchi space discussing Web3 gaming, specifically on Polygon. Tomorrow, we're speaking of wearables, they're dropping the wearables. If you bought one of their like travelers, or like the NFTs that they recently minted, you get a weapon. So the weapon wearable drops sometime tomorrow, and that's going to be launch of their beta. So it's kind of cool because, we talk about composability of these assets like your NFT, your gaming NFTs, and how like, Polygon here, we're doing it. I don't know any other chain that's really doing it at this level across so many different projects that are also like collaboratively working together and, just keeping an open conversation where we can all grow.
Amen.
Hey, what's up? Who said that? I wasn't looking at my phone.
Powered by Polygon. What's up, man?
Oh, hey, man. Yeah. So actually, we have a question for, we'll also ask this for Swagga. In your ecosystem, what is your favorite wearable available and why? And for the other participants here, if you're playing a game that's your favorite game, what's that wearable and why? We can just pass the mic around. We'll start with Genso and then go from there. Hefe, powered by Matic, Mickey, and then One Planet.
Yeah. Yes. Right now, this wearable that excites me the most is, I know people had been dropped a pumpkin helmet for last year's Halloween, and I really like the pumpkin helmet that they could wear. It's interesting because they have attributes to change into, because Halloween, you dress up, you can change into different wearable, and that same sense. So that's what I like using in the game.
I guess I'll go next. So I think my favorite wearable previously was actually the Santa hat in Aavegotchi, and I only say that because I was a old school RuneScape player, for anybody that knows, and the Santa hat was actually one of the rarest items in the game, so that I just had to get that when I joined Aavegotchi. But my most recent favorite, I would say, is my mythical poncho, and if you look at it, actually it's quite a colorful wearable. And it was designed by our one and only Zbot pixel artist. I think he put his full talents into that piece. It's just such a aesthetically, it's on point. And I've been wanting that wearable since I saw that wearable come out on the auctions there. And there's only 50 in the whole game, so it's an extremely rare wearable. And so I finally got that through the GBM auction just a couple days ago. And so that is now my favorite wearable.
Nice. A success story. We all like to see that. It's beautiful. Powered by Matic. It's powered by Polygon.
Hey, sorry. Right now, I don't own any wearable NFTs at this exact moment in time for my own collection. I have a few that we're working on that are pretty neat, though.
What's your favorite that you're working on? And if you don't have one or don't want to divulge that, do you have any real life merch, wearable, we'll call it that, a hoodie, a hat, anything from a project that you're like, this is the thing, if I don't have a digital thing, but this is the thing that I wear probably too often.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have some NFT collection merchandise. I have some stuff from Virtue Animation, Basement Gang, some hoodies from them. They're pretty cool, actually. I like them a lot. I have a few pieces of crypto merchandise. We have some of our own stuff from the 315 Guild. I have a nice GM hoodie. I have a 315 Guild hat. I have a few other things. And I also collect physical crypto coins. I just have an infatuation with having shiny objects around me. So that's some of the crypto swag that I like to keep around. So I have a little stand with my little Bitcoin, my Ethereum, my Polygon coin. It's pretty neat. BitChips does a really nice job with them. If you guys are looking or interested in ordering some of them and are questioning quality in that, they come in nice cases and they're made of real metal and pretty detailed and neat. So I'll give them a shill, even though I've never spoken to them or anything before, but they're really neat.
No, man, I agree with you, man. I'll just quickly.
I think I can't really say. No, I can't say. Sorry. Nope. Can't do it.
Next time.
It's going to be really cool, though. Next time, maybe.
Dude, we got to get you a Aavegotchi wearable on the house. You just get us your address. You got to have a wearable on the Polygon network. We can hook you up with
that. Man. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Hefe, you help me pick it out. I don't think we get the poncho, but we can get something nice.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that a lot. Thank you very much.
For sure. Mickey, how about you?
Sure. So I guess it's very hard to choose because we are the fashion social entertainment metaverse. So it has so many brands, so many different items. Um, I guess I would do it. I would be a little bit off like the lines. I would say I like our Onimaru, like our original IP collectible Onimaru a lot, and because there's so many perks for it. One of the thing is Onimaru, we do collab with different brands, so you do have something collectible in your room. But also because Onimaru, that it's super cute, that you can actually stake it in the farm or in the capsule, so you can actually get more wearable NFTs and or other NFTs as well. I think what's cool about like wearable NFTs is that because we want to build like a metaverse for the communities that can bring more community together. So I think wearable NFTs can also be for like a subscription or membership that can be for each house or each different brands or different communities as well. Those sort of things will be cool. One of the things that we right now we do have a new Onimaru collections called Japan Dream Collection coming up. It's going to be on sale on January 30th. And then we are collaborating with 12 top Japanese NFTs IPs. So total, we are actually going to have 1,200 of them, and there are 24 different designs, different rarities. What's so cool about that is actually when you get an Onimaru NFTs, you can actually stake them in Swagga and then receive more NFT from it. Another one is for us, each Onimaru that you can get our QR code. So what you can do is when you scan the QR code, you can actually take photos or videos with Onimaru in the real world. And also number 3 is that this is something that a new benefit, a new perks for our NFT collection. After all of them are in mystery box style. So after the box is revealed, and after that, we are going to have a Japan Dream collections. All the holders are going to get an airdrop of hoodies for their avatars with the same design of the Onimaru they get. So those are things that we're doing for a different brand, different collectibles, and different collections.
That's pretty awesome. I have trouble saying that Onimaru, but Onimaru. But yeah. It's pinned at the top. Anybody listening in, just check the pins. One of the very first pins on the right side of your screen is to that collection. You guys really packed a lot of powerful stuff there. And I think the most interesting thing that jumped out to me is you mentioned the power of these wearables they are traits. They are additions to whatever your core NFT is. So they can be used for things like subscriptions and memberships. And it reminds me of something that's coming to the Gotchiverse and has been in the light paper. People got really excited about the concept, which is we have these guild houses. We call them lodges, right? Where you and your closest friends in the Gotchiverse can come together. And on the lodge design, you see like above the door, an area where you would hang your favorite wearable, actually. And the idea is if you have that wearable, you can enter the lodge. And so this is kind of a cool membership, like it's your secret club. And you've already, even though that hasn't shipped yet, it's not live in the Gotchiverse, there's already native guilds in the Gotchiverse that have spawned off of that concept. So the most famous here would definitely be the Order of Portal Mages. And this is a group that literally has evolved into a full-blown guild off the concept of you have to have a portal mage accessory, one of the 3 wearables. You kind of have sets in Aavegotchi, so a lot of 3-piece sets. So if you don't have a portal mage accessory, then you really can't enter their group. And I think they've gotten a little laxer with that now in the name of growth and friendliness, but I know the upper echelons of that guild, you're only getting there with the right wearables. So I love that idea, Mickey, and it's actually a very important social layer to wearables that we didn't really touch on today. So really glad you brought that up.
Yeah, it's not only about it's great to look cool, but we want to add more utility and more function to like what we can do with NFTs, and that's something that we can do. For example, it's not only about membership. It can for a membership, it's wearable, it's cool. It's when you see someone else is actually wearing the same wearables, maybe that person is the same member. Or for example, if there's like a party or there's like a concert, those kind of ticket could be a wearable NFT as well. So like you know who are actually attending or actually be going there, or what type of ticket type that's going to be. I think there are like infinite the possibility about NFTs and what we can do, and a lot of utility we can actually explore from here on.
For sure. And I think no future, that was a good one. Good question. We do in this roundtable on like your favorite wearable. It gets more specific, something that you're excited about personally. I want to finish with your take on your favorite wearable. and then we'll open it up, kind of a little bit of free talk, and then we'll be at time. So I saw the hand up from Studio Pyman. If your hand comes back up, I'm happy to pull you on stage. If anyone else wants to hop on stage and talk about your experience with wearables, where you think the industry is going and how those could be used, blah, 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 you guys are welcome to raise your hand. No Future, what's your favorite wearable?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I would have to. I'm thinking of my main Aavegotchi. He has a mythical wizard hat, the royal robes, which I really love. It's a mythical item. It's the first one I got. Two martinis, which I think are really cool. And then I think he has glasses, the cool shades, the flower studs. Those are legendary, and the legendary raffle. I would have to say it's the legendary raffle because that raffle is just too cool for school. And he's just sitting there with this real regal looking Gotchi, and he doesn't care. He's just like, he knows how cool he is. So it's like, I really do love the raffle. They have attitude.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, so you got your favorite Gotchi. You like all of its equipped wearables, but you particularly, you got to, if you could only pick one. Raffles have kind of taken on a life of their own. This is the pet slot. So we call them wearables. And like some of you are saying, sometimes wearable isn't the right term. No Future, you bring up a good point. Like your favorite wearable is the pet. So you have 8 slots or whatever it is, and the head, the body, the arms, that kind of thing. And then you have the pet slot. And so actually your favorite wearable is, ironically, a raffle frog. We call our frogs raffles, which I think is just a very cute name, ROFL, frogs.
Yeah, and
But
I'd love to point out that if you look at fake gotchis, I think the raffles have been represented more than any other wearable, if you want to put them in quotes, than any other wearable in our ecosystem. There's like raffle mania when it comes to the community art that we're seeing.
good point. Yeah, they really have taken on a life of their own. I think we'll see more spin-offs and more games built on the Gotchi protocol around raffles. Just a hunch, as everybody loves them. I think it's the name. I just love saying raffle. So cool. Well, this was a good roundtable. I don't see the hands coming up anymore. Pyman was here. Now he's not. I was kind of curious what was on his end. I guess one last round here. Just did we miss anything? And so real quick, kind of sign offs here, and any topic that's left on the table. Powered by Polygon. Do you see anything that especially related to wearables we didn't cover today?
No, I think actually this was a really great space, as you guys covered and touched on so many aspects. We were able to cover in-depth technical points about it and 3 points to the wearable system. So I think we did a pretty good job of blanketing the subject.
Yeah. And we're all going to leave here FOMOing for a new wearable. I need something from Swagga, which, by the way, Mickey, that is, just to clarify, that's not live yet, right? You said the going live this spring.
The metaverse itself actually will be launched this spring, but we do have the staking is already available. So we have sold over 10,000 Onimaru. They are actually all in the capsule in the farm right now. People are staking it, receiving a vouchers to receive their wearable NFTs and different furniture for their apartment and for their future land. So we have some of the functions already out. Right now we are actually working really hard on building the metaverse itself, and then also building all these. We're looking for more partners to collaborate with, and then we are building houses on our metaverse so we can actually get everything done by spring. And then by the time it's open, all the users comes in, they have all these places they can explore.
Well, what I like about yours is it looks a little bit more like one-to-one with real life fashion, but brought. Oh, I think I'm speaking over Ryan, right?
No, we're not hearing anything but you.
Oh, okay, because it's weird. You sometimes you get the fake volume bars moving, so I don't know why it's doing that. But yeah, maybe we'll have to follow up. It sounds like what you guys are doing is very cool. And I was just going to say, Aavegotchi, we recently announced our full-time hire for head of physical goods and merch, and really going for the fashion and full on with that branch of Aavegotchi. So maybe there's some cool, I'm just spitballing here, but maybe there's something there where what we produce for real life, we could maybe do something augmented from that in Swagga. That would be pretty cool.
Definitely. Actually, we are also focusing on digital as well. So we definitely want to do something that's, what you can get in the physical world, or you can actually get something in the digital world as well. So those are things we're also focusing on. So definitely, Jesse, we can follow up anytime. You know how to reach me. So let's do it.
Cool. Perfect. Sounds good. Yeah, that was the word I was looking for. Phygital. That is the correct terminology. All right. And then Genso, putting a cap on it. Yeah, you got some good notes for the Aavegotchi avatar. Maybe we got a cool signature move out of that. that was a good call on the spin move, no future.
Absolutely. So the spin move is definitely going to come out. So we'll research it and incorporate it and put it into the NFT so that people can use it inside our metaverse as well. Really excited on seeing what we can do here. Thanks so much for the great spaces, so Jesse.
Yeah, as always, thanks for coming. And we got your pin tweet with the Aavegotchi land parcel. Just remind us, how and when do we get involved with that if we want to pick up some land in Genso Meta that's Aavegotchi related?
Yeah, so we want to create some kind of Gotchi landmark so that we can actually see that it's, the first step towards the Gotchiverse. So that's going to be the start of February. So let's plan it around there and we'll announce it together so that everybody knows.
Perfect. Okay. And then One Planet, would love to hear a little bit of just a final thought from you. Yep.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Jesse. Overall, yeah, I'm just excited to learn a little bit more about what you guys are creating because it's not something that we have really worked with. And so, just being included here in this conversation, I've learned a lot. So thank you for inviting us. I mean, in general, just check out our platform. Anybody that's curious about, what One Planet is about. We have really cool projects that are working with us. PS Labs and Knights and Peasants are down here hanging out with us today. So yeah, we're just always looking for creators that are trying to push the space forward, and you guys are doing here today. So really appreciate your time as well.
Absolutely. And everybody give One Planet a follow. And I think it's oneplanetnft.io. Is that right? Is that the official site?
Yes, you got it.
Nice. All right, cool. Well, great, guys. Hefe, final thoughts on wearables, and I think that makes. I think 2023 is going to be big for composable NFTs in general, and wearables will be a subset of that. But what do you think?
Oh yeah, I think wearables this year are going to be huge. I think just hearing some of the conversations here make me feel like we're all on the same page here with wearables, which is a really good feeling, and I'm looking forward to what comes out of the partnerships and collaborations this year. And, what sort of wearables not only end up in our games, but what sort of wearables, maybe Aavegotchi or not Aavegotchi, end up in your games. And I'm looking forward to definitely testing out some of the experiences that people up here have discussed with us here today. So really glad that we could all have our speakers up here today, and grateful to have this conversation.
Excellent. All right. Well, this has been great, everyone. I want to just remind you, check the pinned tweets at the top. There's some big stuff coming in the Gotchiverse these next few days. We just launched the wearables auction. So people are bidding on wearables right now. You can check those out at auction.aavegotchi.com, or just go to aavegotchi.com and click around a little bit. You will find it. There's also the Forge coming, which we touched on a bit during this hour, and it's going to be a big deal. It's one of the most unique things I've seen for a wearables inflation solution. I can't think of a better system, and I'm so proud that it came out of our DAO through a lot of back and forth, a lot of thought and deep thinking on it, and some debate. And the result is, a diamond. So we're going to see that go live in the next couple of weeks. And the potential with that is actually huge, because we didn't talk about it today, but like the initial new NFTs, new wearables you can get from it are already confirmed, and they're designed in-house by the DAO artists and by Pixelcraft. But going forward, theoretically, we could introduce wearables from partners, from others. Then again, you would be melting existing wearables to mint those new partnered themed wearables. So just a final thought on that, this could expand to, infinite directions. You can really take it as far as you want. And I love that's all being coordinated by a decentralized autonomous organization. And that part is just the cherry on top. So mad respect to them and what they're building, and mad respect to everybody here building. And we'll see you next week for another edition of Aavegotchi Spaces. And thanks again so much for making this one special. Talk soon, everybody.
Thank you, Jesse. Thank you,
Bye,
everyone.
Thanks for having us, Jesse.
Take it easy,
Later,
friends.
everyone.
Have a good week, guys.
Big shout out, No Future. Thanks for helping me with the white mic trouble. Great co-host today, man. You held it down.
Yeah, anytime. Also, GotchiNews.network. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. Yeah, anything Aavegotchi, I'm covering it. Check it out there.
That's the URL, right? Or is that the name of the? Do you have a Twitter handle for that? I think it's the URL.
No, that's it. That's the URL. Yeah.
GotchiNews.network. All right, I'll see you over there. Thanks,
Feel
everybody.
free to drop those Gotchi News updates in the Powered by Polygon server too, guys. Any projects, come drop us news. We love to hear about it. So
Great point. Yeah. So Powered by Polygon. Yeah. Real quick on that. We should be hanging out in your. Is Discord the main hub, or is it on Telegram? Or
Discord is the main hub. We have like 100% secure WIC rated Discord server that we operate in, and keep a pretty tight-knit community in. So look and boost engagement through things like sharing news and that. We have a team meeting every Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, it's actually not a team meeting, a community meeting every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's pretty casual. We do it in the Discord. Thinking of taking it a little bit further out onto having a spaces or something and allowing us a little bit more community engagement and just expanding that out from there. So
yeah, excellent, perfect, and I appreciate
we
the
have
invite.
dedicated channels for all things. Introduce your project, introduce yourself, share your ideas, tell us news, game updates, all sorts of things. So open to collaborating in any sort of way with any of you guys building projects.
Yeah, and I love the technical angles. So I think no futuristic. If you're sharing some of the news there, I think see how it goes. If there's a lot of interest, we'd be happy to talk, because I think we'd be on a very similar wavelength.
Absolutely, we'd love to have you guys. Thanks again for hosting, guys.
Cheers. All right, thanks all.
Take it easy, everybody.
Later, friends.